Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft video. I'm Montytiger, and in today's video I'll be doing a tour on my Minecraft world of everything I've been doing since I last made a video. Now before I start today's tour, I'd just like to talk about some of the mods I've downloaded. Now, I've downloaded a few mods, Tweakaroo, like Massacre, and Mini Hood, yes. Now, main reason of this is because it will help me show off some of the things I've been doing in Minecraft much better. And also, the free cam that I'm currently in now have allowed me to find the caves to help me slab up the with a skeleton farm much more easily. And that's good because, as you can see, I've got a few beacons here now. So, let's go get in the tour. As you can see, this base I was working on from the last video, it was only the front part, but I've had a lot more work done on it. In fact, it's finished, except for the little cone down an inverted circle, the mountains I have down here. But that's unlikely, especially because there's not enough space for it. I could hollow out this whole place, but I'd have to move stuff down here. And do I need to? I could make it a very small island, but I don't think I'm going to do an inverted circle now. So, as you can see, it's got a little pyramid here, and then a dome to finish off. The dome has no actual function. None of this has any function. The main function of this is, of course, down here, and I did find time to do the redstone, which I never thought I was going to do it, but I did it, and I don't use it, and I don't think I ever will really use it, but I still have the redstone, and I've all covered it in cobblestone, so when I poured water down here, it won't all get broken. I also discovered that if you pour water down a place, and then you place concrete in that water, it will be immediately turned into concrete. That way, that made it a lot easier for me to do the roof, because I didn't have to automatically break it. I also, if you go into statistics, I can prove this. Oop, not escape, not F1, escape, statistics, items. Now if we go in times crafted, you can see I've crafted 30,000 grey concrete powder, but I've placed it 40,000 times. That's because I also have all this, because I got way more. I use the Shulker Craft sand duping design, which I'll show you later. It's only small. It involves breaking the end portal with a mushroom, which is actually quite easy. I thought it would be more difficult. Much more easy than breaking bedrock, which I've never done. It looks far too hard. It involves TNT. And then you just throw sand into it, and if you throw sand next to it, it's for a short amount of time as it lands on the block. So throwing sand, whoop, and as it lands here, just for a second, is both an entity and a block. The entity goes through the void, but the block doesn't go through the portal, and so it gets looped around and duped like that. It also uses a chunk load, which is quite a clever design. Anyway, any items that aren't in the filters come out here. Proud of this. I'm really glad that I've got it done. As you can see, it's incredibly dark down here because I've put no lights up there. Mobs can't spawn on walls anyway, so you don't need to. And let's have another look. We'll be having a look at the industrial edition and a few farms, but here's another project I've started working on. Now, this is a project that I wanted to do. My main bucket list is, about my last world, which I rage quitted because I lost everything. I was building a little medieval city there. Now, so this is my little medieval city, as you can see. I've got a little farms here, and walls. I'm going to have buildings here, as you can see I've laid them out nicely. And it's going to stretch all the way down to here, and I think I might have a nice stone castle over here. And it's going to go all the way through the forest. It's going to be a really nice little city project that I can work on. This project I think it'll be bigger than my Mega Base project, because I placed 40,000, how much was it? What was it? Grey concrete powder. But yet I've used 10,000 sandstone, and I've only done a quarter of the sand area. As you can see, that wall, it will stretch all the way over here. I've got that acacia area over here, and I also built what I was originally planning on being a dam, but I'm not sure about it anymore. Now I've got little walls for boats to go through. I'll build dockyards and shipyards and all that later. I've got a little canal and the outy bits for the boats to go through. Yeah, it's nice. It's less stressful than a big project because the buildings, you don't have to stress about them. They don't have to look pretty, the individual buildings in a city, buildings in real cities don't look pretty. It's more about them. It's the collection of buildings that makes it look nice, not the individual buildings. And like also you have to fly here, can't take a nether portal, which makes it more immersive. There probably would be more immersive if it had paths, and it will have paths. I could always create a lore to it in the future as well, and it's not that far away from main base. You can see where the rivers join up and everything from here. Now I did a bit of ruining work because I'm never going to come back to here probably, but I wanted to make it look finished, and the way you make an unfinished project look finished is ruin it, make it look like it's intentionally ruinous. And these iron farms are in the fawn chunks. I just see, yep, this is it. That's mini HUD, very handy. Also the thing at the top, you click H, it's like a whole new F3 screen, and you can see it shows the spawn chunks. These farms are in the spawn chunks, which means that they're constantly active, which isn't great, maybe, because look at all these mobs which can spawn here in my spawner. But it's pretty nice. Yeah. And anyway, I don't need super efficient mob farms. They work just as well as anything. I just need to think what button it is now. I'll fill in this sand too at some point, because although I want it to look ruinous, I don't want it to look a mess. And I've got deserts now, and I've got the sand tuber as well. I think it does all entities. It might even do anvils. That would be pretty cool if it does anvils. Down here I've done a bit more work. My main aim was to do everything that I've done on my previous world before I rage quitted at an equal or better standard. So we've got a little map here. It's quite nice. Oh, yeah. If you look in the top corner, F3, I think the day is there. Yeah, day 1176, because I got to day 1000. I'll show you the 1000 tower soon at some point. But this is my base. It's a map. I haven't refreshed the map of that village over there. You see, that's what it originally looked like. It'll probably be substantially bigger now. In fact, if I screenshot that, I can refresh that map now, which will be quite cool to see. There you go. You don't need to lock maps and everything. I live in the past. If I want to see what it looked like before any interference, I can reload the world and create a map there. Oh, I'll have to go to the place and refresh it. Oh, I can't do that now. Right, I've set up a brewing system. It's not fully automatic, but the bottles are fully loaded in, which is nice. And you can find the blaze powder in. I don't know what I've got here. I'll never have enough blaze powder for me to need to store in here. But I also built a small blaze farm. It's manual, but it's in a position where the blazes can't hit you, but you can hit them, which is all you really need. I'm not using it for a super smelt or anything, so I've got enough blaze rods. And that goes down a tunnel, which I'll be showing you in a bit. I mentioned that in a previous video. It's 1600 tunnel. I won't show you the whole tunnel because you don't need to. Never walk from here. I've lit up this with glowstone. I've been doing lots of cleaning up work. Got a little fishing area around there and everything. Oh, and in the previous video I mentioned villages disappearing. Well, I found them. What happened is I had them in a loop of rails, a 4-block loop, going round and round all the villages inside this building, which I've also tidied up a bit. I'll go in there a bit. I've also been messing about with flags. I used a skull for that with a skeleton banner pattern. I've got this little area for my farmers, because in the end I would like loads of farmers, because I built a melon and pumpkin farm. I'll show you later. This is the trader selection area. This is the breeding area. I've created a new breeding design. It relies on the adult villagers which breed, pushing out the younger villagers. We can go have a look now if you want. There you go. See, when they breed a baby villager, they knock it on the floor. It loses health, but they regain it automatically anyway, so there's no real problem. Whoop. There you go. And this is my farmers area where I get monsters. But anyway, as I was saying, the villagers in the loop, they got stuck down here somehow. How did they get here? How? I have no clue how they got here. Minecraft rails are so powerful, and I think there was 8 villagers and I had to force them all down here. The most important of those villagers was breaking free, and it's also meant I'm able to get a perfect sword. Look at that. Ouch 2. Ouch 1's in here. A relic of the past. And I've got a spare beacon because I wanted one. And that Smite 5 sword was for the killing the withers, because I killed 8 of them. Though it says in the statistics I've only killed 8, even though I've killed 12, and that's because I let the few of them suffocate. Gold helmet, just that's very important to check. Now, I won't go in the farm because I don't need to fully go in the farm, but I'll go. Oh, that happens quite a few times. Anyway, you can see I've slabbed quite a few caves. I've also lit them up because I realised lighting them up also starts mob spawns. There must have been a spawning space here. There you go. No, I don't know how that's found there. Maybe it doesn't stop spawns, but anyway, it's good enough. Got lots of slabs here. I found a few more caves. Anyway, I killed 24 wither. Well, I didn't kill 24 wither skeletons. I killed substantially more. But, and I think I killed more than I needed to. Well, not more than I needed to, but more than the statistics would have had me kill. Won't show you the chunk loader. It's just a standard chunk loader. What it does, you drop an item through the nether portal. You make sure that it lands on a block, so it can't. It lands and it gets stuck inside the obsidian. So not stuck inside the obsidian, but it doesn't fly out the nether portal. It remains on the bottom obsidian block. It gets picked up by hopper minecarts and thrown back through, and that loads chunks, which is very helpful for this, because of course I need to stand in the end to make sure that the sand that goes through the end gets destroyed, but I also need the dupers to continue working. If you had multiplayer, that won't be necessary, but this is not multiplayer, so that is necessary. Also got my United Kingdom flag. Now this tunnel, 1,600 blocks long, pretty cool, goes to every biome and where's farm. Have I turned off nether fog? There you go, that's another advantage of mini-HUD, that's amazing, look at that, look how much more you can see. And as a reminder this is when it's lit up with torches. I'm not going to show you down that because it's not necessary. Now, let's go to the industrial district. I was talking about a squid farm project, I may not have mentioned that before, but I've finished the squid farm, so that also, after I finished the squid farm, it became immediately unnecessary because of the sand duper, because you don't need ink. If I ever decide I want to use wool a lot, then I can have that. And as you can see from the back of my skin, if I take off my elytra, I'm part of the squid army. Join the squid army, or the squid army will destroy you. That's the motto. Now the industrial district. If we go here, just look at this nether. Could you see that in normal nether? Here. I went to my nether fortress area, and as I was slabbing, I discovered that there was another nether fortress right next to it. I would have never seen that if I didn't have a combination of free cam and no nether fog. Also, I used chickens and pigmen. It said pigmen would cause it to stop, but it hasn't. It's still ridiculous. And that's just me working in my melon and pumpkin farm, which still isn't operational because the melons still haven't finished growing. But I have chickens in boats, so the boats don't go in and out of the portals, and that way it can push entities out, the squid entities out, and so they suffocate and they don't get trapped. I think I could also have it as they just get stuck inside the portals, they suffocate there, and then there's a hopper minecart. But I think the items might go back through the nether portal, and that caused quite a bit of lag. So this is my pumpkin melon farm. It's had no drops. It's 128. I wanted to make it go in a straight line because I really can't be bothered with anything annoying like that. But here, see, they're still growing. And in my previous world, I had a bucket list of things I wanted to do. Well, not bucket list. I had a list of things I did in my previous world that I haven't yet done. That was a raid. I did multiple raids in my previous world, but that's not. I've only done one, and it was accidental. In my sand village, not the village I showed you before, but where I mine my sand, there is a village there. But the sand village I did show you before, I will be planning on doing raids later there because it's got walls, it's a city, and I don't do any trading there. It's just supposed to look like a nice city. This is a bamboo farm, goes straight into my super smelter. If I need actual bamboo, the item bamboo, I could just take it out of my super smelter or mine it manually. No one needs that much bamboo. The super smelter's almost filled up. It's got 32 furnaces, I think, but most of the time I use this. If I do need to smelt lots of things, say I want smooth sandstone, which I might need for the villager project, though it's unlikely, because as I said, the villager houses don't need to look perfect, then I will use that super smelter, which I can show you now. I've also done more flattening work. It's just so... Flattening is so cool. Can't wait to have a look at what the world looked like previously. Right, they've all got well, they don't all have bamboo in them because some of them have other things in them. But here, it goes all the way down, and there's another row of hoppers on top. So it produces a lot of bamboo. I've gone AFK a bit though. How far does it go down? Okay. Just a couple more hoppers. Oh! One more hopper and it'll be full. Oh, it's filling up now! See? Look how quick that is. And that, I believe, has 4 stacks. What was it? I think, yeah, it produces 4 stacks of bamboo. There are 4 stacks of bamboo growing there. I moved all my sugar in here, I don't know why. Oh, I should just burn the sugar at some point. It's not necessary. No news here, nothing different. Just, I've gone AFK here because I needed that to do that for the bamboo. And I ran out of gunpowder because I go AFK very irregularly. Oh, and I forgot to show you the 1000-day tower. I'll show you that and then I'll finish off the video. I'm just going to check if I'm still recording, because that'd be annoying if I'm not. Yes, I'm still recording. I won't do much editing in this video. I don't need to. You get to... everything's close together, so there's not much annoying travelling at all. Okay, I've placed stone in front of my gold farm to stop the bees flying in, because I've lost so many bees. You think if you breed bees all the time, you will get more bees. But I've got no more bees, because every time I get more baby bees, the baby bees like to go explore into there, and I lose my baby bees. What are the pigmen doing here? I think about having a system which pushes them through automatically, but I don't think that's necessary. I've got it so you can now AFK here and kill them here, which means they spawn more often. Though I don't think actually they spawn in the immediate vicinity. It might be better if I actually stood 24 blocks down potentially, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not an expert at these things, and it's fine for me because, yeah, 24 blocks down, because it'd still be in a spawning sphere, but I won't be in the despawn sphere, which also you can show with mini hoods. I'm not going to show, it's a bit of a faff. It's not that much of a faff, but it's a slight faff. Which one is it? Shape renderer. That's it. Here's the shape renderer. Oop. And I think this is the shape renderer for my squid farm, because every river in this area is no longer a river, which is nice, and I still need to fill them in. Now, I originally built the squid farm with stone, but then I realised squid need glass. Now, when I made a previous squid farm design, which relied on them dying on magma, and they had only needed 1 block to spawn, I was told by someone that the reason my farm wasn't working, and they said it in a very snooty manner, that squid needs a 2x2 area to spawn. 2x2x2 area to spawn. Thinking about this farm. This farm has a 2x2x2 area to spawn to stop salmon from spawning, not because squid. Squid can spawn in 1 block of water, whether it's flowing or not. So, I think it has to be a full block, but it doesn't have to be a source block. Anyway, the reason my magma farm worked before is that, of course, it was magma on top of magma, so the squid had no access to light, and it's light they need to spawn. Though, this is still a better farm than my previous design, because with my previous design, I would only have managed to get 1 layer of this, so I think this is 5 layers of spawning, and also it's too deep for all of them, because it wouldn't work, because squid don't get pulled down by magma, so I'd have to rely on them spawning on top of the magma and dying from that. I've all linked them up, all the farms, so that you can turn them off. I will never turn them off. I might turn the bamboo farm off if it overflows, but it's not really necessary. I've got a little wood farm here. I don't use it much. If I need wood, I go get wood from the forests, because why would I? It's less effort and it's easier. You can have more trees. Done some flattening here. We're pretty much the end of my world tour. I have a beacon here, a mining beacon at my other base. So that's 2. That's 2 beacons there. And then I have the mega beacon that makes 8 beacons. And then I have the beacon in my ender chest that makes 9 beacons. And is that all my beacons? Oh, I have one in the end. That makes 10 beacons. I hope you're happy with this tour. I've used up a stack of rockets doing it. Anyway, back to base. So, the squid farm, gravelly mountains and sand biomes are all pretty much redundant now. I might get some sandstone from the sand biomes, but I found another gravelly mountain substantially closer to me because I looked for Gravelly Mountains Plus before and I was exploring around because I'm doing a bit of exploring. I don't have any mega projects to do, and it's nice being free like that because I've done my list of things from my previous world. I was exploring, I found the Gravelly Mountains. I noted down the coordinates, but then I thought I'll never need to go here because if I ever need gravel or sand, then I can just get gravel or sand. And also onto the sandstone thing, you can craft sandstone from sand, so I don't need to have mining deserts or mining areas, mining deserts or gravelly mountains. I can leave the environment to look nice. But anyway, 1,000 days. I'm on day 1177. I didn't actually build this on 1,000 days. I built this on 11,000 days. Well, I built the sculpture on 1,000 days, but it looked horrible. It did generally look horrible. It was a mess. Well, I actually built the sculpture on day 9999, so I could have time to do it. But it looked horrible. I added the trim on the side. It had 2 words of 1,000 on the top. The first one wasn't legible. It also had a giant pole, 1 block wide, which went to the top. I removed that. I'm very proud I managed to land on it too. And it had 1,000 words here and 1,000 words here. So I removed that one, made this one stand out more, and added a trim around it. So it looks a lot nicer. Anyway, that is my world tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.